Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Today we are going to talk about the times when you're forbidden to pray. So let's get started. According to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are 3 times when you're prohibited to pray. As Uqba bin Amir radiallahu ta'ala narrates in Sahih Muslim that there were 3 times at which Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade us to pray or bury our dead. Number 1, when the sun begins to rise till it is fully up, which means the time when a person has prayed Fajr until the sun has risen the distance of a sphere above the horizon. So basically about 10 minutes after sunrise. Number 2, when the sun is at its height at midday till it passes over the meridian, which is about just before the time of Zuhr prayer. And number 3, when the sun draws near to setting till it sets, which means the time when a person has prayed Asr prayer until the sun sets. So these are the times of prohibition, which means you shouldn't pray general voluntary prayers in these times. But the question that arises is, are you completely forbidden to pray in these times, or can you understand it from a different angle? Let's talk about examples to answer this question. So let's say you prayed Asr. According to the hadith, you're not allowed to pray after that until the sun sets. But what happens if you missed a prayer and want to make up for it? According to scholars, you're allowed to do that. Now let's say you have entered a mosque and you want to pray Tahiyyatul Masjid because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructs us to pray Tahiyyatul Masjid even before we sit in the mosque. According to scholars, you're allowed to do that because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed us to do that. But how do these examples match with what the question is? You see, according to these examples, you're allowed to pray in the prohibited times if you have a legitimate reason. This means, for example, you're done praying Asr and you have nothing to do until sun sets. And you say to yourself, I have nothing to do right now. How about I pray 10 rak'ahs voluntary? In this case, it becomes haram for you to pray or prohibited because there's no legitimate reason in praying 10 rak'ahs. But why are there certain times you're forbidden to pray? According to the narration of Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala an in Sahih Muslim, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do not intend to observe prayer at the time of the rising of the sun, nor at its setting, for it rises between the horns of Satan." According to my understanding of this hadith, you're basically prostrating to shaitan instead of Allah if you pray in these times. I'm not saying this is the perfect explanation of this hadith, but this is like what I understand about this hadith. Anyway, we shouldn't pray in these 3 times unless we have a legitimate reason. I hope this video was informative to you. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ.